Whalawhala hia tūhana, he tolo do walatala ke latai mai mama hea honei. Ko e tau hiki kianga he matangi, kua lauia e tau atumotu he atu Pasifika. Sinaka i hao o mai e niwe, mai tau mena kai tutupu mai, ha koe tau hiki kianga he matangi. Ke he tau mena tutupu ke he tau motu. Whaulu motu toko lalo, muka ke puke ka hokolahi e tahi. Whaulu motu lauia he tau matangi malalo mo e uha, tupu mai e puke lahi he tau vai i tau vai tafe, mo e ta whea e tau whale mo e tau tangata. Whalu motu tunga aniwe e tau ahai ai e mngaho ke tōlahi e la, ke he loa he tau mngaho. Tō pauku ai e tau kau e motu mo e mamase ha kua lahi e la. Koe tau fuafua he mngaho nei, tō tō ai e la he motu he mahina ha iulai, he tau nei ke hoko atu ke he mahina ha masi he tau kahau. Tō hai ai fōki tau mngaho ka tōlahi ai e uha he motu nei mo e malona i tau koloa a la kau tonga e tau la kau ne tō ai he vai e tau hydroponics. Moa ha koe vai, mui mai ha koe vai, kai mamasi fōki ka eke kua tōlahi e uha mo e ta whea e tau kai ne whangai ake e tau kai ia e tau kau ia he puhala hydroponics. Tāmena fōki ka tupu mai he lahi e uha ko e mamafa he tau kau kua popo mo atu ke he tau kau ne tata atu ke he tau kau hala puhala tū. Nā kai ni ko e tau kau popo kai lawi ai fō ke tau kau ni lalahi tau lau mai mamafa ka pala. Ko e tau mena ka tutupu mai ko e veveli hifo e tau kau ia mo e alai ai tau puhala tū. Mo e nā kai meke he tau motoka ke whakaonga ke watu ke he taha matakavi. Lai mahaki e uha kua tō ai ke he motu he tau aho kua moli ki tua. Ngoi i loa ai fōki he aho nei kua alai ai e puhala tū, mai nā kai maike e tamdoka ke whakaonga. Koe puhala tū e wahaloto ha tuse kolo mo mā nāni ala ia, mo e kua whita fōki he whakailoa ke whahinga hua pepiliki mo e tau leo leo ke langmatai ke utakehe e tau patua kau nei, ne ala ia e puhala tū. Whakawe ni a ka eke kua nā kai whaimdoka po ke tangata ne pākia. Kua whaimena pehenei ne tupu ai he tau ngahu ka mole, si whaimdoka ne oka he tau patua kau ia he puhala tū, mo e pākia fōki e tau matua i loto he mdoka. Koe tau mena ia, pehenei tupu mai ha koe hiki anga he matangi. Kua whita fōki e tau hataki anga he whakakisi mai, he takitaki he whahinga hua, fuafua matangi ko sione tasi pule he toa, si kua amanaki fōki a ia, ke whaitala hauanga ki lunga he leo taongo niwe, mo e TV niwe ke he tau mga hui mua. Ki a whakatu mau ke mataala ka whakaholo e tau pohalan tū ne longa, lahi e tau kau he tau kau pohala tū, mo e whakailoa whamawhisi ke he whahinga hua leo leo me publiki ke watu alautolu ke utakehe tau patu kau, mo e whakamea e pohala tū. Ko e aho nei, ko mai ke e tau whanau he aonga, tau whanau i kiki, ke whai tau sianga ke lata mo e whahitapu mai tau pepa. Taha anei he tau whakaholoanga kua lali ke whakahoho e tau whanau ke whakamalolo ke tau pepa. Kai bihia fōki mo e ononoanga ke he tau tangata tuhi tala, mai mahuinga he tau tala, mai tau whakakoanga he tau whanau. Kua mai ke he tau wahenga takitaha ke whiwhiri tau tangata ne kua tohi e tau tala po ke tau tangata mai i loto he tau pepa nei. Ne talhau he taha whaiaonga ko Carol Edwards nā kai fōu e mena nei, ka kua lewa lahi tō liu whakahoko fōki. Ko e mngahu nei, ono whakahokuro ke he tau tangata ni kua tohi e tala. Hangau he tala mo e manamanatu fōki ke he tau whanau mo e halatolu a tau mui whakahako ke tohi mo e tau tau. Pese ni kua nā kai lahi tau pepa, kua tohia he tau tangata he motu, kai mai ke fōki whalu whaiaonga niwe, ke whakakisi whalu a tau tala kua tohia e lo tolu mo e whakamatapatu he tau whakakoanga boku wiki ki ai. Ko e amanakianga to maike ke whakatumau e tau whakaholoanga pe nei mo e mitaki lahi ha kua kau whakalataha e tau mga whaua ke maike ke whakamoli mo e whakamahuinga e tau whakaholoanga pe nei. Climate change has affected a lot of livelihood in the Pacific families, mainly flooding from rising sea levels, too much rainfall destroying crops, or very long time of dry conditions, which will affect many small islands, including our island Niue, and the health of the people. It is forecasted that Niue will be affected by very dry conditions during the month of July, 2014 to about March 2015. On the other hand, too much rainfall also affects local crops, mainly hydroponics, which rely on water to survive and produce, but will not survive in too much water. Lately, Niue has experienced very wet conditions that have caused other problems, like old and rotten trees on roadsides become heavy and waterlogged. They fall onto the road and created another problem for road users. This morning, the middle road between Tusikolo and Bana was blocked due to old trees falling on the road as they become heavy from the wet weather. The police and public works have been informed to remove the objects and clear the road. And a few weeks ago, a similar incident caused an accident and injured a couple of older adults. The director of Niue Met Office, Mr. Sionetasi Poletoa, said this type of weather pattern will continue in the Pacific, and we need to prepare ourselves for the worst. As we look forward towards a very warm and dry season between July and March, we all need to ensure that we have resources available to us to combat any climatic situations we are faced with. Making reading fun and bringing books to life was the idea behind a special program held at Niue Primary School today. Students and teachers have embraced Book Week with their own take on it as they paraded around as their favourite author or characters from within the books that they have been reading. For the past week, each class has selected an author and have been reading books written by these authors. Niue Primary teacher Carol Edwards says that the concept is not new, but it has been a while, and this way is something different, giving children a new outlook on the value of books and reading as an important part of learning. Despite there being limited resources for some of the local teachers, it was their time to shine as they featured some of their own work as authors of Niuean stories. The school is looking at making this a regular part of the education experience, with much appreciation to families who have also been on board to support the initiative. And here's our news from around the region. Australian Foreign Minister Julie Bishop has been updated on Fiji's progress towards its first democratic elections in nearly a decade. Fiji One has promised to hold elections on 17th of September, the first since the country's leader, Rear Admiral retired Varik Bainimarama, seized power in a military coup in 2006. Fiji was suspended from the Commonwealth in 2009 after Commodore Bainimarama failed to meet a deadline to return it to democracy. But the federal government is keen to normalise Australia's frosty ties with Fiji and started by lifting travel bans on senior military and government figures in March. Bishop on Tuesday met her Fijian counterpart Ratu Inoke Kabuabola, where she emphasised Australia's strong support for the electoral process. Australia has accepted in principle an invitation from Fiji to co-lead an international observer group to oversee the election and is finalising the terms of reference for the mission. The two foreign leaders also discuss preparatory work to re-establish defence ties between the two nations. It's illegal under Australian law to sell weapons to Fiji or provide military advice. Meanwhile, the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, has a special interest towards Fiji. This was conveyed by British High Commissioner Roderick Drummond at a birthday celebrations at his residence on Monday. More than 1,000 people gathered at the Unangi Oval in Port Moresby Tuesday to stage a sit-in protest against the current political events, calling for Prime Minister Peter O'Neill to resign. The protest went ahead despite Acting Police Commissioner Jeffrey Vaki saying on Monday that there would be no protest march. Protesters carrying placards and banners took to the Oval as early as 9 a.m. in the face of heavy police presence. The public, including working-class Papua New Guinea students and those in the informal sector. Students from the University of Papua New Guinea joined the crowd at around 11 a.m. in a busload to show their support, despite a decision by Students' Representative Council to stay away. Their arrival on the Oval boosted the morale of the crowd, with more people getting drawn to the Oval to participate. Port Moresby top policeman, acting NCD Metropolitan Superintendent Ranu Peru, newly appointed acting Deputy Police Commissioner in Operations Jim Andrews, and Director for Community Policing Jerry Frank observed the protest with their men. Police checkpoints were established in strategic locations leading from the Oval to the National Parliament. Motorists were diverted away from the Oval and the National Parliament by the police, but people still walked to the venue. Australia on Tuesday warned neighbouring Papua New Guinea against political instability after the Pacific nation's leader was accused of authorising millions of dollars in illegal payments. PNG Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who was elected in 2012, was last week served with an arrest warrant for alleged corruption and misuse of funds. O'Neill, who denies the claim, which he says are politically motivated, promptly sacked his Attorney General and dismissed the head of the nation's anti-corruption task force, Sam Cohen. Australia's Foreign Minister Julie Bishop said Papua New Guinea was a dear friend of Australia, as she warned against political instability. The two countries are close neighbours, with Canberra sending asylum seekers to the Pacific state's Manus Island, while PNG receives more than $500 million in foreign aid each year from Australia. Coem in Australia to meet Bishop stood by his accusations against O'Neill, saying he believed there was enough evidence to mount a case. The allegations relate to payments worth 20 to 25 million Australian dollars to lawyer Paul Paraka from the Department of Finance. Papua New Guinea Prime Minister Peter O'Neill Tuesday welcomed the chief of the Melanesian Spear Group and spokesman of FLINX and co-chair of the Special MSG Leaders Summit, Victor Tutugoro, during his courtesy call in Port Moresby. Prime Minister O'Neill, on behalf of the government and people of Papua New Guinea, said, "I am greatly honoured by your visit and warmly welcome you to PNG on this occasion of the Special Melanesian Spearhead Group MSG Leaders Summit." He said Tutungoro was elected at the Assembly of Northern Province since 2005 and has then been the second Vice President during 2005 to 2009 mandate. He is also currently the second Vice President of the Northern Province under this mandate, 2009 to 2014, and in charge of health, social issues and societal issues, economy development divisions and environmental divisions. Meanwhile, Fiji will be sending a 100-member contingent of artists, performers and musicians for the 5th Melanesian Festival of Arts and Culture in Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea this week. The Papua New Guinea government on Tuesday tested its numerical strength and adjourned National Parliament to 26 of August. Leader of Government Business James Marape said that the adjournment is to welcome neighbouring states to the Melanesian Festival of Arts and Culture, enable wider consultation on proposed amendments to Section 145 of PNG Constitution and the fine-tuning of the Sovereign Wealth Fund legislation. The motion to adjourn the House was moved by MP straight after prayers, with the opposition calling for a division. Speaker Theo Zurinuk agreed, and the government used the opportunity to test its numbers, securing a 75-5 votes in favour of an adjournment. Sacked Attorney General and Justice Minister Karinga Kaur was the only government-aligned politician who voted against the motion besides the opposition's MPs. Marape, when explaining the rationale behind the adjournment, said these sessions of Parliament were supposed to look at amendments to the organic law on political parties and candidates and sovereign wealth fund legislation, but the National Executive Council has decided that there should be more consultation. The Media Industry Development Authority, MEDA, is seeking explanation from University of South Pacific, USP, on a statement issued by two members of its faculty. USP, a journalism program acting coordinator Patrick Craddock and lecturer Matt Thompson recently put out a statement saying the treatment of journalists Netaki Rika and Samisoni Peretti was an indication of how the military government treats a journalist. MIDA chair Ashwin Raji says none of their statements is true and they didn't bother to check their facts. Patrick Craddock told FBC News he stands by his statement, reflecting on events that have occurred since 2006, and it has nothing to do with USP. And finally, the current political situation will certainly create unease for investors, many of which have done well in recent years, notably during the LNG construction and the ongoing building boom period, says a Papua New Guinea government think tank institution. Executive Director of the Institute of National Affairs, Paul Barker, when responding to questions from Post Courier, said minor political stability is rarely a great cause for concern in business, so long as policy stability remains in place. Barker said more serious disruption, including threats to economic activity, certainly cause nervousness and affect particularly those businesses which need security and stability, like tourism. He said Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has always appeared to investors to understand business and provided assurances that no major decisions will be pushed through without extensive consultation with business and other stakeholders. And those are our news for today.